Good evening, it is 6 o'clock and I'm calling I guess this is the 5th of March, meeting together of the Harwich Finance Committee. I'm going to take a roll call of our participants, particularly because we have a number on remote, but first let me make sure to check the town announcement. And then we'll roll call. As required by open meeting law, you are hereby informed that the town will be video and audio recording as well as live broadcasting this public meeting. Anyone in the audience who intends to video or audio tape this meeting must notify the chair prior to the start of the meeting. Do we have anybody doing so? I do have a couple of guests, but both of our guests currently are here related to petition articles, and we will get to introducing them when we get there.
Mr. Chairman, could I just point out, I think that Urbano is here to talk on something. He needs to be at your wife's meeting at 6:30. So.
Well, he put in a request.
Oh, okay.
And I won't tell you the request my wife put in, so we won't
Stall
debate
it?
that topic.
She said stall it?
Anyway, to have a roll call vote of the attendees. First, let me start with remote. Mark Peterson.
I'm here, Mark Peterson.
Tina Games.
Tina Games, present.
Scott Norum.
Present.
And then let's start with Dan.
Dan Schwartz.
Present.
Michelle Gallucci, present.
Mark Amaras.
Peter Hughes.
And
we don't have any nameplates. We don't know who you are.
yes, I forgot the nameplates today.
You
And
want me to make you
myself,
one?
the chair, Robert McCready. Thank you.
I can make some.
I would like to get approval for the minutes of February 19th and February 26th minutes.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on either one of those minutes? See no discussion. Again, I'll take a roll call because of the remote persons. Scott?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Michelle?
I'm abstaining for the 26th. I wasn't present, so.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I am an aye, so that is. Can you vote on the 219
Yes.
minutes? Yes.
Aye.
Okay,
I
so
vote aye.
so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 0 on the 19th, and 701 for the 26th. Okay. I am going to use the evening to start reviewing and hopefully voting on articles that have come before us. And the first group to relate to a request, we have two petitioners here, and we can. I have announced to the petitioners previously that we're not planning on doing having presentations on the articles this evening, but I had invited all of the petitioners here to be available for questions and comments if they so desired. So I'm going to start with one that is we'll skip to Mr. Urbano just to make him happy.
You're making my
Patrick, is that okay with you?
I will consent.
Let's see if I can find yours here.
While you're doing that, can you tell us what kind of shape the warrant's?
Hmm?
What kind of shape the warrant is actually in or isn't at this point in time?
Well, I have 35 articles, actual articles. Okay, first one. One of our guests is Lou Urbano, who has put in petition articles. First one coming up is what I have as listed as P11 from, I think, the chart that's being used. and this is the bylaw to protect town funds and document development impacts. I hope everybody has read, all the members have read the articles previously. They had been sent out to all of the members. I'm looking to see to have comment. We can either get a motion first or have comment first if, see what people's desire is.
So which one are you on now? P what?
I am on what's labeled as P11. Again, it's indicated to be a bylaw to protect town funds and document development impacts.
We just asked the petitioner to give us a brief summary of what he's looking for.
Okay, Mr. Urbano, would you please give us a very brief summary,
Sure.
especially
love to.
because you want to get out.
Yes. Basically, that petition was put in place so that when committees such as the Zoning Board of Appeals or the Planning Board requires the town to make upgrades to the roads or infrastructure as a condition of the project, and there's funds to be spent, that the town is made aware of how much the funds are, and the town gets a chance to vote at town meeting just on those funds. Has nothing to do with the project, just in terms of the infrastructure. It's concise enough? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr.
And the
Hughes.
intent would be that the project is conditioned upon getting that approved?
No,
It's just an information thing.
yeah, that is correct, yes.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with the zoning or the planning.
So would it be just a clarification if I could, when the project is being planned, and let's say it's been funded, and they have a building permit, et cetera, at the next annual town meeting, this would be brought to tell us what the estimate is for the cost?
That's left up to the developer. The idea behind it is that as part of the planning stage, the developer would know as soon as he's gone through one of the committees that there's gonna be conditions. And the committees will say, this is what has to be done, they'll get the price, and that goes to town meeting. And the developer then just has to look to see if it'll impact him, because if town meeting says no, and that project can't go through, then it causes issues. He may have to pay for those improvements himself or herself or whatever.
So he can't start construction on this project until this gets approved?
That's correct, absolutely.
Okay, I'm just.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I looking, oh, may I?
Yes.
Okay.
Michelle?
So am I looking at this is, Lou, this is your proposal, and down the bottom it says plain English explanation.
Yes.
This proposal does two simple things?
Yes.
This is yours,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
You wanna read those?
Oh, I can read them, yes. Would you like me to read them? Okay. This proposal does two simple things. First, it makes sure that when the town reviews larger development projects, especially large multi-unit housing or projects that require special permits, town boards clearly document and share any expected impacts, such as traffic, neighborhood fit, environmental effects, or cost to the town. It does not change zoning rules or give boards new power to approve or deny projects. And then secondly, if a project would require the town to spend money, for example, on roads, drainage, utilities, or environmental fixes, that money cannot be spent unless town meeting votes to approve it. This keeps decisions about public spending in the hands of voters. Projects can still be approved under existing rules, but taxpayers do not pay for new costs unless the town meeting agrees and project impacts are clearly documented so public can see them.
Perfect.
Question?
Yes, Scott?
So does that mean that if it's approved through the usual existing zoning process, but then, and it goes forward based upon that, and then at town meeting, the funding of those incremental costs are not approved, is not approved, I would think we would need some clause in the contract with the developer that holds the developer liable for those costs in case the town funding is not approved. It seems like it's two separate tracks that conflict with each other unless you have that sort of a fallback funding guaranteed by the developer.
Well, I'm not sure that that is stated clearly. If you just go back and follow the POB4 project, there's road work to be done. They received money. There's a May 4th meeting that the town could have had the money in and wouldn't have impacted the developer one way or another. It's just, and if there is no substantial road work or anything, it doesn't even go to town meeting. That's only when there's an exceptional condition that there's conditions. Yes,
I
Peter?
understand, I'm exploring the scenario in which the zoning is approved, the project proceeds, but then for projects that do have incremental costs, the town funding is not approved at town meeting. What happens in that scenario?
I don't know if I thought that through. I may have. I just don't remember at this particular time. I think I did do some checking on that though, and I can get back to you. Yes, Peter?
Okay, I have one other question that I might as well throw in while I'm at it. I see the criteria for large project is 4 units or more.
Correct.
So that it implies that this is for residential projects, but I imagine that there are also commercial projects that could have impact on town expenses. Did you intentionally exclude a commercial project that might have such an impact?
No,
So it might be, I'm just thinking of ways in which this article might be,
better?
improved.
We can amend it at town meeting.
Is there a dollar threshold?
No.
Mr.
Yes, Peter.
Hughes had his hand up.
Could I just ask if town council has given an opinion on this article?
Nope,
No,
not yet.
these have not come through town council.
Nope, not yet. Not that I know of.
Okay.
Monday night, I'm supposed to go to the select board. I guess that's usually when you find out.
I think that's correct. I don't see them, I believe, having.
In my opinion, if that's the case, I think we
Yes.
should hold a vote on this until town council is opined.
Okay,
That's just my opinion.
yep.
I agree.
For the members remote, I'm not sure if you heard Mr. Hughes' comment. He is recommending that we hold a vote on this article until we get an opinion from, until they've passed town council and come out.
Agreed.
But I would like to, again, we're going to be overall squeezed on time. I want to make sure that people have asked all, and in fact, we also have the petitioner here, asked their questions and would feel ready to vote other than having a response from town council. Knowing also that there is limited wording opportunity with a petition article, very limited, that can be done with a petition article by town council. Dan? Did you have a question? I thought you had your.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, no.
Would you all have the same opinion that we should not vote on this until then?
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
think we have to have a vote on the vote. Seems like a consensus. Have you all, everybody satisfied their questions of the petitioner? Okay, I'm gonna move on to the other article that we have from Mr. Urbano, which is identified as P12. It is the Harwich Housing Trust Resident-Focused Programs, Expanded Authority and Defined Funding Sources. You want to also give us a very brief summary?
Okay, basically, this one here allows the voters to have an input when money is spent. The Housing Trust, when it was formed, if we go back, some would say that it had an intent that money be put in as seed money. That was some people's understanding. Whether that's correct or not, it's not up for debate now. But that was some of the people that told me that. As we've moved on, the Housing Trust has been getting a substantial portion of its funds from the Community Preservation Fund. Now, the Community Preservation Fund, the way it was formed before, each and every project was brought to the town and identified. What's happened recently is in a number of cases, we get to vote on a term, affordable housing, without defining specific project. What this petition does is gives the citizens in town, the residents, the opportunity not to vote on the project again, but to vote on whether its funds will be used towards a project. Example, POV 4 said that they would move ahead with or without town funds. Yet we felt that we should give them $1 million. Well, maybe the town should have had a say on yes or no. That's what this petition does.
Okay, let's have any questions or comments from the members. Anyone on remote that would like to ask a question of Mr. Urbano?
Yes.
Yes, we have one. Okay, Scott.
I thought that the CPC funding did come up in an article, item by item, including the funding of, low-income housing.
The CPC article is an article that I think you're referencing. While CPC could have, and does actually this year, have specific funding requests for certain projects, that it also, there is a CPC article, and there has been for the last few years, to transfer CPC, Community Preservation Act funds to the Affordable Housing Trust. Now, that is just,
Yeah, okay.
that is just a transfer of money.
Correct.
And then the Affordable Housing Trust, which was essentially created to provide flexibility and timeliness with regard to being able to provide funding for some requests that of different types, but at least as a major reason as to how it came about. That then is the once it has money, it then can take requests for various potential expenditures and make those decisions without going back to town meeting.
May I add one thing to that, Mr. Chair?
Hold on a second, I want to see other questions first. Dan?
I think it's just a comment, Bob, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the CPC makes recommendations, and those recommendations must go directly to town meeting. They don't require the approval of the Board of Selectmen.
That is exactly right. CPC articles, in this town, the Board of Selectmen does tend to have a vote, just like we tend to have a vote on them, but it does not have any effect on their going to town meeting for a direct vote.
Yes.
Correct.
Just wanted to get that out.
Okay. Yeah.
And I guess the same question about if this is this past legal counsel or not. I mean, I think we're gonna find out.
The group of, I think the group of petition articles has not come out.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna find out, that we're gonna get our questions answered. We'll formulate in our heads how we might vote about these things, but I think I have to wait and run through them quickly once we get town council.
Yep.
And what section is being amended by this?
I'm sure it's in the notes.
Hold on.
Amend the Harwich Housing Trust bylaw.
Like I've got
That's not
chapter,
required of citizens petitions. All that's required is that you title it, and then that's done. But I did want to clarify something that I think is pretty
Yes,
important.
Mr. Urbano.
This in no way hamstrings the trust in terms of buying property, selling property, putting together buy-down programs, rental assistance programs. Those are all actions that need quick movement, and it doesn't stop that. The only thing it puts a town vote to the test is in terms of a large developer or developer. And there's plenty of time in the process to get that.
What there may be, and what, in this case, what we may find out from town council is whether or not there's a conflict with the state Affordable Housing Trust law. And it's,
Yep. Okay.
and hopefully that would be, that will be part of what the council responds to. Seeing no other questions and seeing it, I think everybody will agree again that these articles, while we want to get discussion done on all of these articles, that we're going to not hold our vote until they have passed through town council and come out. Michelle?
I think what's critical is this one sentence here. It says any funding to private developers or private companies would require explicit town meeting approval, and such approval would authorize funding only, not approve or permit a project. So
Correct.
that's the crux of it,
That is
right?
correct,
Yeah, okay,
yes.
thank you.
Okay. Those are your two articles.
Did Guy ask me to speak on his or to answer questions on his? Ed Trubadowski?
I don't
He
know.
sent me a text saying that he was going, that's okay.
Which one is it?
That's the one on the select board, giving tax abatement and, permit relief. Since you don't know, I can't speak up for him. Yeah.
Well, I guess you could when we get there, but that's up to you. I'm going to move on. I was willing to address your two articles,
Yours, fine.
but we have other people here.
And I say this,
also.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm gonna then move on to articles that have been submitted by Patrick Cotton, who is here in the audience. I think I have 3 articles from Mr. Otten.
And in addition, another article by Jan Raphael.
Yes.
I can speak for her as well, she's not here. And also one by Ed Trumbickley that we just mentioned a moment ago.
We can, although I think when we do yours, I'm gonna let Mr.
That's
Sutphin speak next as he's here. So those are labeled as I understand it in at least some of the notes, P2, P3, and P4.
Well, okay.
P2 is, to see if the town will vote to authorize and ask the select board to petition the Great and General Court of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for special legislation, the text of which is set forth below, and it has to do with clean, clear ponds and waterways, a whole home rule petition for fertilizer reduction. Right, I think I've got the right one.
Yes.
Is this similar to, first, just a quick question, is this similar to the fertilizer?
It's identical.
It's identical to the one we've already had.
You mean last year's?
Yes.
In
Okay.
the past. Most of you, I'm not sure about all of you, why doesn't Patrick give a brief summary? We have two new members that are at the meeting, and Mark Peterson and Tina Games, who may not be familiar with this article from prior year. Patrick, would you give a brief comment?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, Patrick Otten. So we're all aware that nitrogen is a critical factor in our environment, whether it's from humans, whether it's from other sources. Nitrogen is being addressed, one, via sewering, and another possibility is fertilizers. So typically understood, our wastewater from humans is 80% of the nitrogen in the environment. 15% typically is from fertilizers, and then 5% of the nitrogen in our environment's runoff, okay? So looking at this from not only the environmental perspective of the impact of fertilizers in our environment, let's look at it from a monetary perspective, which you all understand very well. It's projected that for Cape Cod, 50-year projection for sewering is $4 billion. Okay. If you take that number, 15% of nitrogen in our environment is fertilizers, let's take 15% of $4 billion and take it off the list because we're no longer putting fertilizers on the ground. That's $600 million for not putting fertilizers on the ground. So the state will give credits. Right now, they're giving a 25% credit for the education not to put fertilizers on the ground. Let's take 25% of the 50-year projection of $4 billion. That's $1 billion that you don't have to spend by not putting fertilizers on the ground. $1 billion not putting fertilizers on the ground. Let's look more directly at Harwich. The projection for Harwich is $200 million in the next 40 years. If you want to use the 15% contribution that nitrogens from fertilizers contribute, that's $30 million that wouldn't be coming out of our pockets. Or if you want to use a 25% credit that the state will give, that's $50 million. So the cost for both the 50-year plan, $40 billion, that's coming out of our taxpayers' pockets. The cost for Harwich of $200 million is coming out of taxpayer dollars. By not simply putting fertilizers down, you do not take $600 million or $30 million out of residents' pockets. Okay, so it's saving the town and the residents and the taxpayers tremendous amount of money by not putting fertilizers down. And that's my presentation for this article. Let's not put fertilizers down. You no longer have to pay a contractor, but also your tax base will not see that tremendous hit of $30 million that you'll be responsible for sewering.
Okay.
Okay?
Open to questions from, and first we'll start here this time. Mr. Hughes.
I just said, this is a strict prohibition the way it's written.
No. No. It is.
Homeowners have a choice if they want to continue putting fertilizer on their lawn.
The restriction for homeowners is gardens, vegetables, and fruit trees.
If they want to fertilize their lawn, can they do it?
No.
Okay.
But if you want to grow fruit, vegetables, or fruit trees, go right ahead.
No, I understand that.
Gardens.
I understand that. I'm a big personal choice kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind, quite frankly, you just said someone, if you're gonna put fertilizer down, you gotta pay a fine, call it.
$30 million?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And if somebody decides that's what they have to have on their house, and they're willing to pay an extra, I'm making up a number, like $500 a year for the right to do that, I think that would make more sense than just a strict prohibition, but that's just me.
Dan.
Are there any natural products that can be used as a substitute for nitrogen?
Human urine. If we, instead of sewering, we're diverting human urine and collecting that urine, urine has 80% of the nitrogen that is in septic, okay? So if we collected the urine, pasteurize it, and distribute it in our yards, that would be satisfactory.
Is that the only product you're aware of?
In terms of this petition, the fertilizer allows organic fertilizers, okay, not commercial synthetics. So if you have a garden, fruit trees or vegetables, you can use organics.
Okay.
That do have some, that do qualify with some low level of nitrogen and phosphorus in those organic fertilizers. Mark?
No, go ahead.
So my question is, how do you enforce this? So if I have, a pound of 22 nitrogen fertilizer, what acreage do I put that over versus half a pound of 44 nitrogen fertilizer? How do you figure all that out?
Today, how is it done? So there are state regulations about putting down fertilizers. How is it currently enforced?
You tell me, it's your article.
I'm not worried about how the state law is enforced. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say to you, this will be enforced identically to how the state law is enforced.
But you're just substituting organic for non-organic, the other way.
There's often the fallback, let's use enforcement. It can't be enforced, so we can't do it. Well, let's remove all the stop signs until you have a cop standing at every corner making sure everyone stops. Because every stop
No,
sign.
but the stop signs aren't percentages and acreages, you know, so, you know, we're not saying 5 stop signs per acre.
Right,
You know, we're saying we've got stop signs on dangerous intersections.
yeah,
And for this, you know, the devil's in the details in terms of, you know, is, like if you take composted yellow fertilizer, that's very high in nitrogen and salt. And salt's bad for the environment too. I don't know how you tell the difference between, you know, organic nitrogen, yellow nitrogen, and non-organic nitrogen. So it's confusing.
I agree,
Okay.
it is confusing.
Let me, Michelle, why don't you ask your question?
I have 3 comments.
Okay,
I personally like this petition, but I think this will be my 3rd town meeting.
yeah.
My 4th. Anyway,
Finance committee meeting.
and I,
Fourth.
you know, a couple of comments just to think about. You know, I just think this is too draconian. Like, I just think that, you know, we've been up against this and people say no every time. And is there a step towards where you want to go? That's the first thing. And then we have people who come and say, oh no, you know, I've fertilized my lawn, but if it's applied properly, you know, it doesn't run off, it just seeps down, you know, 6 inches and it stays right there. So I think we need more, you know, more details around the facts pertaining to fertilizer. And because I do like this, but I think that we're going to be up against the same, you know, comments and pushback that we did last year. Just some thoughts.
Yeah, and that's why, rather than trying to answer Mark's question about this fertilizer or that fertilizer, I want to emphasize the dollars, right? It's accepted that fertilizer 15% of the contribution of nitrogen in our environment. Well, let's stop 15% and take that out of the bill of sewering and put that money where it belongs, keep it in our pockets.
Or try to at least stop 5%. You know what I'm saying? I just think that an all-out ban is not really well received.
I don't like the word ban because it is saying go ahead and use it.
Let's not keep going
Sorry.
back and
Yep.
forth yet. At first, I want to check on screen. Does any of the 3 of you have a question?
Scott has his hand up.
Scott has his hand up.
Thank you. So it's more of a couple comments. One fact is that in the tallying up of our progress towards removing nitrogen from our wastewater and other sources that end up into our ocean embayments, the ban itself, or this regulation itself, regardless of the enforcement approach, does count towards the goal of nitrogen reduction that is mainly being handled with sewers in the current plan. And by the way, this links back to something I brought up at a prior Finance Committee meeting, asking us to try and reestablish the wastewater support committee that would help the select board explore options other than sewering and also help to tally up our progress along all the different strategies, including fertilizer restrictions. And I agree that the fact that there's no clear enforcement measure, it's not something that would stop me from voting yes for this, because I think that the publicity of restrictions and the fact that landscaping companies would certainly take it seriously, that I would vote for this, even though I agree that it's not perfect. Thank you.
Again, anything else from either one of you? No, okay, back to the table. Dan, you had an additional question?
Yes, have you sought input from landscaping companies regarding this proposal?
It varies. Some accept it because landscaping practices are based on what's in the ground. It's more complicated to take care of a Cape Cod lawn than it is a turf lawn, you know. So there's trade-offs on both sides. Do I just simply mow your lawn and charge you the bill, or do I take care of your lawn in the Cape Cod lawn and maintain it? So there's support and opposition from both
I
landscape.
use a company called Natural Lawn,
Okay,
and they supposedly use organic fertilizer. Can't say as to what they substitute for nitrogen, but my lawn looks pretty good. And I'm just wondering whether there are products out there that can act as a substitute for nitrogen that we're not aware of.
I don't believe so. It's the nitrogen that's the problem.
It's the quantity of the nitrogen.
Then how does Natural Lawn promote themselves as a natural lawn company?
That's it.
They sell you more expensive nitrogen.
Thank you.
Well, no, but if I could, though,
Yes.
but under this article, they would be prohibited from putting that stuff on your lawn. Is that right?
Correct.
Right.
So you lost that choice.
Because it's not nitrogen, but
No, it's the application area, so you could use the fertilizer on fruits and gardens and things, but not lawns.
so this natural product that they use could not be used on lawns?
It could be,
Correct.
The way the article's written, I guess, I mean,
yeah, the article limits
And
fertilization.
it's not nitrogen.
so you lose your choice, that's what you want.
Well,
Spray paint your
But
lawn.
California.
This article proposes to ban nitrogen. Does it also ban nitrogen substitutes as well?
No. And it's restricting nitrogen.
Then I'm confused.
It bans fertilizer from lawn use.
Natural or
Any,
any kind of fertilizer?
it is, the way it is written, it is just says fertilizer
on lawns.
on lawns.
Commercial agriculture is exempt. Residential applications restricted only to gardens, fruits, and vegetables.
Mr. Hughes,
Two things. What would happen at White House Field, just for an example?
Cranberry Valley.
And two, well, okay, and second, is this the exact same wording as last year?
Yes.
So the town council's already given their opinion on this from last year, right?
that's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
I was going to follow up with exactly
Okay, I'm sorry.
that
Yeah.
question, exactly.
So
If
can you
this is-
address the golf course and,
The golf course also struggles with this problem, and they're dealing with it. In terms of the schools do not apply fertilizers. So any schoolyard is not fertilized, they only use water.
yeah, but White House Field is a major attraction with the Cape Cod Summer Baseball League. So what do?
They can water,
But they can't fertilize,
correct,
according to this.
correct.
So what's gonna happen? I don't know. And by the way, if there's a water ban, what do we all do? I don't know, it's like,
The other question in my mind is how do we sell this to the community? Because Cape Coders like their green lawns.
I understand.
Yeah, I'll throw my comments in on this one, that, and people have bring up the enforcement question, but I don't think it'll be enforced. Because there's no mechanism or resources to enforce this. From my standpoint though, it's really that trying to get the sense of trying to reduce some of the bad things we do to the environment down, whether or not it's enforced, is worth the town making a statement about. That's all it really is from my standpoint, because I can't see people, we're not gonna hire people to go around and check your bags. That as a practical matter, it's trying to see whether whether the people that come to town meeting are willing to make a statement that says, we reject the idea of of adding additional nitrogen and phosphorus to the environment that isn't necessary, that doesn't need to be there.
And you're right, stores aren't gonna stop selling Scott's fertilizer,
No,
so.
it doesn't ban the sale, it bans the use,
Right.
in this case. And
So,
even, and
we'll see.
regardless
This
of
is
it,
the onus
whether or
on-
not it banned the sale, right, this is really, again, this is an opinion, this is a sense of the community article, again, from my personal point of view.
Let me add that Nantucket, Orleans, and Wellfleet have already passed this home rule request, and it's before the state legislature for action. Also, Barnstable, Brewster, Chatham, Eastham, and Mashpee, and P-Town have adopted stricter regulations, not home rule, but stricter, so, you know, the emphasis is to move in the correct
And it's been
direction.
accepted in those communities.
Yes.
It's questionable whether they're enforcing it.
And I think we have some regulations here, although I couldn't tell you what.
You know,
They're the state regulations.
You know, it's kinda like the water ban last year,
Yes.
right? You could tell who wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention to it, 'cause they had
Yeah.
nice green
Yeah,
lawns, you know, and the rest of us
It's
didn't.
another example of government passing an order like this and not being able to enforce it.
Now, last year, or the year before, they did pass the balloon ban, however.
Yes.
You may recall. Now, I am going to take Mr. Otten at his word then, that this has passed muster with town council previously, and therefore we could go ahead and have a vote on it this evening. And again, we can, there's always the opportunity to come back and reconsider. But where we can, it would be nice to get a sense of the committee. So if I could have a motion on the article, I would appreciate it. Anybody want to make a motion?
I want to make a motion. Can I ask another question? And I've been on the other side of this in town meeting, but now I'm coming at it from the FinCom side here, so I'm just trying to, I just wanted to kind of echo what Scott said. I like the idea of this. And I just want to understand, hypothetically, if this is passed in town meeting, basically what it's asking is the state legislature. So we're not in the weeds yet on how, I guess, on how it's implemented. That would come back to the town of Harwich to make a decision, correct?
Yes, this is a home rule request, and it probably would take 2 years to follow through.
So about 2 years, okay. All right, and you mentioned a few towns have already done this, moved ahead, and I couldn't quite hear, has it passed and come back, and are towns now doing this? Are there any best practices, any examples out there of how this works?
Not yet, so the towns that have requested home rule petition, it's still before the legislature to act on.
Okay, all right, so we don't have any evidence of, okay,
That's Nantucket, Orleans, and Wellfleet.
okay, thank you.
Tina, there is, however, specific wording attached to the article that even though this is to authorize, ask the select board to petition the state for special legislation, it does indicate the next statement is the text of which is set forth below. And the text has a whole section detailing out the petitioner's version of the article of what he
Okay.
wants done. So it makes it a little fuzzy as to whether in fact what would be approved at the state level. Would it be simply the ability of the town to have, to consider its own town fertilizer ban separate from state regulations, or have to adopt the wording that was submitted to the state?
Okay,
Okay, so I'm not clear, even though this is past town council, I'm not clear on myself on what would actually be getting approved by the state as a home rule petition.
May I comment?
You may.
So, you're correct. the state would approve as written unless they want to make changes. So the state can make changes. Once it's back here, again, home rule petition or town meeting could make alterations and make changes to it once it's back. So the wording that we have before us right now is the same wording that Nantucket, Orleans, and Wellfleet have used. Identical petitions.
That's why I don't live in Nantucket, Orleans, or whatever.
Okay, back to having a vote or trying to have a vote. Let's see, first, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a
Move to vote on this petition.
second.
Okay, we have a move and second of, that's a positive vote.
Accept
Correct.
and adopt, I think
Yeah.
he means.
You,
Accept and adopt.
accept and adopt.
That's what I move, to accept and adopt this petition.
Okay. This is 2. And Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the voting then. I'll start with Scott.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye,
Aye?
yes, aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Dan?
Nay.
Michelle?
Aye.
Peter?
Nay.
Mark?
Nay.
And I'm an aye. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 nays. 5, 3, 5, 3, with Peter, Mark, A, and Dan as the nays. Okay,
Okay, I close it.
sure, yes. P3, roadway scenic character, designation of scenic roads within the town. Quickly, this is a new one, not a repeat of prior
Correct.
years. Would you give us a brief synopsis?
So there is a state law that enables towns to designate scenic roads. Once a road is designated as scenic, you cannot disturb in the right-of-ways trees or stone walls without a public hearing. All right. So Chatham, back in 1974, now has 39 streets designated as scenic roads. Orleans has 36, Brewster has 19, Harwich has none. And this is simply a state law, Chapter 40, Section 15C, that says towns are able to designate scenic roads to protect the roadway scenes of trees and stone walls. And I'm just simply asking the town, let's do it, okay? And I've also given a list of about 40 roads, possible roads that could be designated.
So Patrick, we don't have to, this is not one where a town has to accept a state regulation to participate. It just has to start utilizing the state law as it's, they would choose to implement.
Right.
Okay. Mr. Hughes?
Who determines the designation? Board of Selectmen?
No, so either the planning board, the historic commission, or the Concom can choose roads for designation, and it's done. Okay. If there's an objection because a tree needs to be cut or a stone wall removed, it goes before the planning board for approval. Given that, they call for a public hearing. Okay.
So, if I just thought, so if the Conservation Commission just decides, here are 5 roads you wanna make scenic, they can, assuming they vote that makes them scenic.
Yes.
So nobody else gets to say whether it's scenic or not, just those people.
I believe that's true, yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify who gets the power.
Michelle?
So after this recent storm, I've heard people complain that we need trees cut back against away from the wires more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how would that work?
That's an important consideration. So this does not limit removal of hazardous trees or trimming of trees
Okay.
for safety.
Okay, thank you.
So it wouldn't affect the fact that Eversource, I guess, on a normal recurring, during the course of the year basis, does in fact go around and do trimming of trees that they believe are interfering with the wires.
Correct.
And it would have no effect on that. Dan?
Will there be an appeal process for those folks who don't want that particular area designated?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah. You know, I should have sat down with the towns of Chatham, Orleans, and Brewster and said, you know, but the state law does not make that clear. Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions from the remotes? Tina?
Yeah, it's not really a question, but to go back to what Michelle said, the way I read this, we can still trim the trees, right? I'm reading the petition as just the removal, so the trees can still be trimmed, correct?
Yes, trimmed, hazardous trees removed, invasive trees removed, yes.
Okay, all right, that was my only clarifying question.
Michelle? Did you have another question?
I did. If once designated, can you undesignate?
I don't know.
Just curious.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, okay.
Dan? Did you?
I was just gonna make a comment that the power company come in and trim whatever trees are around their lines without getting your approval.
And this,
But it's the designating the area as scenic that I have a concern with, in terms of whether the community has an opportunity to appeal that process or that decision.
I'll have to find an answer to that question. Thank you.
Mr. Hughes?
And once again, has town council opined on this?
Town council, to my knowledge, has not opined on any of this year's petition articles officially.
Quite frankly, if I just say this, I would feel much more comfortable, Patrick, if whatever streets or whatever roadways want to be designated as scenic, a list be brought to town meeting as an article and say, okay, well, this year we're gonna do, you know, these 15 streets as scenic. And people can say, yeah, okay, but at least the taxpayers and whatever got a voice in it, as opposed to 3 members of the planning board or something, you know what I mean? It's just.
Well, I actually did include a list of possible streets.
Yes.
So if this passes a town meeting, there's a starting point. Also, this does not apply to any state numbered roads. So the Department of Transportation is responsible for all these actions on any state number. So 38 or 28, 39, 137, 124. Those are up to the DOT. This excludes any state numbered road. These are only town roads only.
That helps.
Yeah.
And just to clarify back that on this question of town council, that the law already exists. So this is not one of applying to the state for a home rule petition or applying to anything. The law already exists. It is simply whether or not it's actually, it sounds like, as Mr. Hughes was just saying, it sounds like a question that could as easily be handled during the course of a year by a, I'll call it petitioner, but coming to the select board with recommending that in fact we start utilizing this law, that it doesn't take doesn't look like it.
So can we hold this until we get town council feedback?
I guess we can. Has everybody asked what they want? Okay, we will do that.
I have just one more, and if you don't mind, Mr. Chair. Patrick, just let me go back over here real quickly. I just wanna make sure I understand. So, I understand that there is a law, but these streets or these areas that you're proposing, these are your choices, like, so they haven't filtered through any committee, like, nobody's decided this list, this is your list?
Correct.
Okay. I guess my thought for this, and I would be interested in town council, my thought for this, again, wonderful idea. Certainly the law is there, but I feel like there has to be some wording that allows a committee or somebody to go through the list. Like, I just feel like at town meeting, if we're going forward with a list like this, I feel like it's gonna get nitpicked. And I'm just, I guess my thought is, can it go to a committee? Can we form a task force? And let them decide what the list is, rather than us going to town meeting and saying, this is the list. Does that make sense?
Tina, this is not the list that would be to be voted on. These are suggestions being included as representative suggestions.
Okay,
You're not.
all right,
The
okay.
town meeting would not be voting
Okay,
on.
all right. I appreciate, okay, thank you.
That
That's
is,
good clarification.
that is for the select board and various town departments to, whether to choose to go ahead with implementing and selecting roads. As I understand it, these are purely suggestions.
Yeah, the wording says potential list of possible roads for consideration to be designated as scenic, add or delete as needed.
So
Okay,
potential
and I
and
appreciate that
possible and
clarification. I
consideration.
think my only concern are people, are they going to just assume this is the list? But I'm just kind of thinking with a PR lens, you know, are people really gonna read word by word and understand? But we can move on, that's fine.
Dan?
Yeah, I think that one needs to establish criteria as to what constitutes a scenic area. Otherwise, it's willy-nilly, whatever somebody thinks ought to be scenic should get designated that. And I think there should be some criteria.
And, sorry, just towards what you just said, Patrick.
Yes.
In the article itself, it says to see if town meeting will vote to approve this potential list. So to me, that implies this is a
Thank
list
you.
for approval. That's the way
That
it's
does
phrased.
imply, yes.
That says this is the list that we're gonna vote on.
No, it says it's approve the list as possible roads for consideration. Not to become, but for consideration.
That's why I need town council.
I think the lawyer will say something about
Well,
that.
the lawyer may say something about that, exactly. Okay, moving on, because I think we're going to, again, put this in the category of coming back and voting on it, but people have had their chance to vet it. The last one of Patrick's is the tree preservation bylaw. Is this the same?
Identical from prior
Identical,
years,
and
yeah.
so it has been council vetted
Yes.
in the past. And hopefully, everybody is familiar with the relatively extensive tree preservation bylaw that we have seen in the last couple of years now. Do we have any new questions then? Okay, and I think that taking Mr. Otten's representation, I think we can vote on this. I need a motion, see if there's a positive motion on the petition article. Anyone?
Do you need a summary?
No?
No, okay.
I think people, again, it's certainly been vetted a number of times. I think people are should be pretty familiar with it.
Good.
In one form or another. Okay, I do not see a positive motion.
I would make a motion to accept and adopt.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second, okay. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, let's vote around the table first. Mr. Hughes?
Nay.
Okay, Bark?
I agree in principle, but my vote is nay.
Dan? Michelle?
Nay.
Scott?
Aye.
Mark Peterson?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Um, I'm gonna vote.
And we are missing a member
Yes.
tonight.
I'm gonna vote aye this year. I voted nay, I think, last year, but this year I'm going to vote aye.
Okay.
So that is 5 ayes and 3 nays. Okay, I think we're done for, if you want to stay around to come back after Patrick, after Mr. Sutphin is done.
Yes, I
That's
will,
fine.
if there's questions on the Chumbaki or Raphael.
We got a
Okay.
time constraint tonight?
We don't have a time
Think we
constraint.
don't
No
blow
time
up at 8
constraint. We can
o'clock or
stay all
something?
night. at
Okay,
least.
I'm just checking.
Yep. As far as I know.
Should I double check that?
You can, sure. I would guess when I say all night, I'm thinking 9 o'clock. I think no matter what, but, okay. The ones that I have for Mr. Sutphin, yeah, these are all others, okay, are my labels P6, P7, and P8. And so we'll start with P6, which does have a, to see if voters will authorize the select board through its designee at its discretion to evaluate the possible acquisition of the former Marceline salvage yard, presently consisting of approximately 29 acres, and on. That seems pretty clear by itself. Is there anything that you feel that's needed to be added? It's pretty clear.
Well, I'd like to explain why. Mr. Chair, members, thank you for having me here.
Very shortly, please. Just,
I'll take your time.
No, I'm not gonna, I will be quick on it.
yes.
It
Again, I
is
think it's
there
pretty clear.
because my concern, and because we all know there's a lot going on now in town. And we all vote yay or nay with the idea of results. Rarely do we spend a lot of time talking about consequences. Marceline salvage yard is a huge consequence going forward. We don't know what it'll be. And whatever it'll be, there'll be 2 or 3 more stoplights out there. It'll all be, it's the gateway to Harwich, and it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be like going into Myrtle Beach. So I am really putting it out there as a way of encouraging people going forward from this town meeting to say, okay, when I talk about result, I'm going to talk about consequence. We all, clearly whatever happens there is gonna have great cost to the town. Now, do you wanna be able to tailor those costs or not? Certainly if the town bought it and divided it into open space, maybe 10,000 square foot lots for employees of the town, there's some to additional, whatever the boards would think would be appropriate for 30 acres, but at least it would be spread out under 2 or 3 entities, and therefore there's a little more control, a little less of a downside as far as how it would be utilized. Plus, the town could say, come out off of headwaters instead of come out onto 124. There's certain things that the town could get involved with and tailor. Whereas right now, I see us as sitting ducks. That's my point.
Thank you. Okay, let's get questions for Mr. Sutphin with regard to the warrant article that is authorizing the select board to evaluate the possible acquisition of the Marceline property, the Marceline salvage yard property. Okay, who first hand? Mr. Hughes.
I assume that would mean exploring what, if anything, is in the ground.
Oh, it'd be
Looking at environmental.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to detail how it would be done. clearly the select board would have to be smart about what they need to know.
Okay.
And I fully expect that we.
And there's no money associated with
No,
this, right?
I'm not, I'm basically putting it out there for the select board to take the wheel and move them
So
over.
I think what you're trying to do with this is say it's Board of Selectmen, the townspeople think this is a priority.
I won't speak for the townspeople,
No,
but
but
I
if
find
they-
it,
if
I
they-
find
if
it a
they-
priority.
If they vote for it,
Yes, then they would see it
Okay.
as a priority.
because then the selectmen have to spend some money, obviously, I don't know what that is, but the first thing I would ask is what the heck is in the ground?
Yes,
You know, and what's the state say, you know, what's the environmental stuff, impact statement or something? And then go on to whatever. But you're right in that with that other development across the street, I mean, in Pine Oaks 4, I mean, it's gonna be,
a mess.
it is gonna be a mess. Yeah.
So, I was gonna say, the more we can steer, the better.
Yeah, does anybody have an estimate as to what the land would cost?
No,
I mean,
now, I will say, I've been told that it's under agreement. Well, you know, you never know until you know, kind of thing. So, and I don't, in a way, it doesn't even really matter in terms of my effort here, because I'm trying to put it in everybody's mind to think ahead.
And by the way, if there is an agreement, this article has nothing to do with that, really.
No.
I mean, it doesn't stop somebody from buying it.
No,
Right.
I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just throwing it out there for
Yeah.
consideration.
Okay, I get it.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Other questions?
Mark's got his hand up.
Mark Peterson.
Yeah, I wanna make sure I understand this. This 29 acres, instead of the town buying it, why couldn't it just be sold privately? I'm not quite clear why we think the town should take it over.
Well, thank you for asking. It's my understanding, and I don't pretend to have any keen knowledge about it, that it is being sold privately. And I have been told anecdotally that there may be an agreement. So I can't speak to anything specific about what's going on with the property. I'm just throwing it out there, should any deal that's in the moment fall apart, that the town might consider the advantages of getting into a negotiation with the ownership.
But what are the advantages for the city to take, or the town to take it?
Well, if I may, yeah. You know, you get off the bridge and you look at Market Basket and all those other buildings there. 30 acres can house a lot of opportunity. And I would see some of that land better used for cluster housing or small rent-to-own houses the town could develop for people who work in town. I'm thinking small, I'm not PO4 and Penrose. I'm thinking several small entities that are tailored the way we'd like them to be and the way we could live with them going forward.
So in a sense, Mark, it's an avoid have the town consider acquiring the property to one extent to avoid the downside of having it. Some of the rumors over time have supermarkets and all kinds of substantial commercial activity going in there. So to an extent, it's giving the town an opportunity to decide what the town wants to be on that property and not have a private developer be able to make that decision. That's part of what it's getting at.
Okay, and this is based on that, this is a fairly big size property compared to what would normally come up.
Sure is.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's an important size property for the town, I guess.
Hey, Mark, if I could just interrupt, at one time, way back when, we were considering, the selectmen were considering trying to make that a golf course. Seriously, this goes back around 2012.
And I got all my window lead weights out of that property.
There you go.
Dan,
get all of them.
Had you considered approaching the Harwich Conservation Trust to purchase the property and have it forever wild?
I had not, I really thought that, it needed to go to the select board to manage it fully and take advantage of opportunities. They're the, to me, my understanding, that's the board that could manage the opportunity.
So that would preclude the select board going to the Harwich?
No, they go where they need to go to make it happen for our benefit, absolutely.
Michelle?
So, you know, like many people have been talking, I mean, I'm concerned about the development in town. I mean, it's just everywhere. Do we have any, and maybe I should know this, but do we have any requirements as a town to conserve a certain portion of the land per year, or
Not that
is
I'm
there
aware
any
of.
kind of,
Might I make a comment to that? Because
Yes,
I do know,
please.
I have some. I was saddened to find out of all the towns in Harwich, all towns of the Cape, Harwich has the least amount of land designated protected of any. It only has 22%. Yarmouth has 29%. Barnstable has 30%. I mean, we are the bottom of the barrel there by 6%.
is that because of the laws, or this is just these towns have proactively done it themselves?
Well, Mr. Hughes probably can speak to it better than
Mr.
I,
Hughes.
but
I'll tell you what I think happened. You know, we have this 3% surtax to fund CPC, which started out as a land bank and quickly morphed into all this other crap that we do, quite frankly. So we haven't focused on the original intent that said spend 3% every year and buy land. That was a mistake, quite frankly. That's just my opinion. So.
Can anything be done about that now?
Well, to expand upon the comment about CPC, as an example, the only requirement under CPC is putting 10% of the funds as into a reserve related to housing. That's the only requirement. So this committee, depending upon what requests are brought before them, the committee has the ability to make just their own decisions over. Actually, there are 3 pots of 10% requirements, but there's 70% of the money that is up to the committee to decide how it, what it thinks of the applications that have been brought forth. Now, there's some dependency in there on applications being brought to them, and decisions as to whether in fact to spend all the money, but again, there's no requirement to be putting $500,000 in the Affordable Housing Trust every year, like we're doing, or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying that's gotten the impression for people because of the importance of developing affordable housing, which is important, and it is important. There's been a shift certainly in recent years, in very recent years, since the Affordable Housing Trust was created, in the sense of where CPC money should go.
Mr. Chair, may I add?
Yep.
Tangential to what you're saying. Because the CPC can vote on all kinds of things other than land, the beauty of land is you buy it, that's it doesn't cost you anything. Trouble is everything else, not only do you have to buy it, then you gotta maintain it. You know, and so it's got its own can of worms, is what I'm trying to say. And so I would love us, the town, to do something to get back to buying more land and fewer things that you have to maintain.
Well, there are, and yes, it was an evolution of the land bank, as you say. There are, I think, communities in Massachusetts, maybe even on the Cape, that are restoring or creating land banks again.
From CPC funds or in addition?
No, a separate additional load on the property taxes.
More taxes.
More taxes, that's right.
Has
A question.
Has the select board opined on this yet, since we're suggesting this to them?
I have
No.
not spoken to anybody.
No, I think the petition articles were all going on the 16th, I believe.
Yeah, we've been invited to go on the
16th, and they haven't, again, this is new, so it hasn't come out of council. In which case, I would guess the recommendation is the same that we
Wait
hold
till
it.
council, yeah.
Dan?
I was just gonna comment, that's the beauty of the Harwich Conservation Trust, is that, they can designate a purchased property as forever wild. And nothing can be, commercially be done with the property.
They hold the conservation easement, the town, and historically, with the land I've been involved with, the town would buy the land with land bank funds. And the conservation trust would hold the easement so that I didn't have to worry about anything, you know, in my
Big cost
backyard that I
or
didn't think
whatever.
was coming down the road. Yeah.
Landscape.
All right. If we've had all the questions, then I'm gonna move on to article that I have titled P7. And because I have, again, assigned this, we're going to wait on taking a vote, but we've all vetted the article. P7 is,
We're gonna hold this one, is that one correct?
we're
Okay,
gonna hold it for council.
thank you.
The article would limit any person from serving as a voting member on more than one major town board or commission at the same time. Currently, select board members already follow this rule, blah, blah, blah. Members are ineligible, blah, blah, blah. This bylaw would extend the same principle to other boards, including planning board, zoning board, and an additional list, but not intended to be all-inclusive, I would guess. Boards still designate a liaison. So it is intended to, the article is intended to restrict membership of somebody's determination as to what a major board is, that a person can only sit on one of them at a time. That's also pretty clear.
So is that meant to be a bylaw change
That is,
or a charter change?
let's see. Mr. Sutton, I don't see any reference to a bylaw.
Specify, again, I'm leaving that in the air for people to know more than I do about how to make it happen.
Yeah, I don't see any reference to that, and so it's,
Wouldn't that be something that would be in the charter? Because, for instance,
I
I
think-
think in the
well,
charter,
I think you're right.
the Finance Committee, we cannot serve on another board or committee except for the two designees to the Capital Outlay Committee,
Right.
period.
Right.
I think that's clear in the charter. So is that's like suggesting to the Charter Review Committee they should include that? Is it?
I think the petitioner should absolutely take it to the Charter Commission,
Yes.
as a suggestion. Have you been in front of the
Thank you.
Charter
No,
Commission yet?
although I am planning to, it'll be an interesting evening, I imagine. But the my rationale for it is this: I don't think anybody in town can list off half of the 43 committees that I'm aware of. I mean, we're overly committed, and I think there could be a nice consequence from, say, cutting it down to 20, where you get some like committees and merge them so that you're going to have an easy quorum, more people interested, plus you're going to get some freshness in terms of conversation. There are several committees, in my observations, it's only mine, that there are several committees where they're pretty well written in stone who they are and how long they've been there, and whether or not they're going to like your line of thinking. And so that can be discouraging for somebody. So to get fewer committees with more people, you're going to get a little more stuff going on, I think, in terms of different points of view, which I see as a plus.
I just also say that in the case of the Finance Committee, we're term limited into, is it 3 consecutive terms?
Yes.
And then you gotta take at least a year off or something, so we can't be here forever.
No, well,
And I sort of think that would be a good thing for everybody, not to be there
not to be forever, because you get this institutional thinking kind of
But this
situation
this
that is not
article
good.
doesn't address either one.
No, I understand.
It's not term limits.
I understand.
No,
And it's not getting rid of,
I know.
it's, and we know we have specific examples. I don't know if you're gonna bring up CPC. But specific examples, well, CPC is specifically made up of members of other committees.
Yeah, right.
By definition, by state statute.
Yeah.
That We may have others, but I think of CPC specifically as being one that was structured for that reason on purpose, at the
In that
statute
case, you'd
level.
have to abide by the state statute, I mean.
Yeah. Okay, Dan,
Yeah, I was gonna make the comment that, the town has difficulty recruiting people for committees. In fact, I thought I saw something come out recently where the town was promoting the aspect of serving on a committee.
Yeah.
And I think this would kind of work against that. So I think we need to be careful. I can see the advantage of this, so that people don't serve on conflicting committees.
yes, that, right, there are possibilities for, the way it
Well, that's why we
exists,
can't serve
and
on
you
it.
might even be able to find a couple of potential conflicts of interest existing right now.
I don't have a comment.
Other than a sneeze.
Oh, yeah.
No
I'm just
conflict.
sneezing.
Anybody online that wants to comment? Tina?
I guess my comment, and I do understand, appreciate the thought behind this, but I feel like if I'm reading this right, I feel like one would limit any person from serving on one or more. It sounds to me like you're limiting folks to one. I don't know that I agree with that. I think two. I know what Dan is talking about, because this has been an ongoing for years. Oh, hold on, something's going on with the microphone here.
We can still hear you.
Don't hear me. But anyway, going back to what Dan said, this has been going on, that they have difficulty filling the boards, but I think you're talking about the main boards. And I don't know that I agree. I think one is too limiting. Limiting one to one board, I think is what you're talking about. But anyway, let me circle back to putting it in front of the charter review, to me makes the most sense at this point.
Okay, if I might, may I, Mr. Chairman, respond to that? Because there's a misunderstanding in this moment.
Okay,
And that is certainly we're having trouble filling committees, and probably somebody's thinking of a 45th committee, you know, so, but my intention is to get it down to 20 committees.
Right.
By dint of following this problem, which will be, obviously it'll be a problem the minute it's passed, because there won't be enough people to fill. So the consequence of not being able to fill committees will be having to merge them.
That makes sense to me. A committee can have a subcommittee of thus and such.
But this article doesn't say that, right?
It doesn't, and because I didn't want to get ahead of myself thinking that I have all the
Yeah, no, I
answers.
understand.
I just want to get it out there for people to tailor to our
that
advantage.
an outcome, an unexplained outcome of this, of passing this might be that.
Yeah.
Michelle?
I also think that limiting it to one is too restrictive. Sitting on the finance committee, I wanted to serve on the, I think it was the conservation committee.
Yeah, something, yeah.
And I can't, and I was disappointed that I can't, because, you know, that's an interest of mine, this is an interest of mine. I think two, I think limiting it to with two would be good.
Well, what would be helpful for me is, thank you for being my getting to vet it a little bit from your point of view, but and also will be before the select board. But I'll be free, as anybody else will, at town meeting and say, let's make it two. And I'm not gonna be stupid about this. So if everybody wants two, I'll amend it to two, or ask you to amend it to two.
Would you make the cutoff?
Yeah.
Okay, again, this has not gone through town council, so I'm putting it into the category of waiting for town council to vote. I don't see any other questions, so we will move on, and I think those are your three articles, Mr. Sucker.
The third one is we have yet to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get, you're right. The tree warden,
Well, I've given up on the tree
in
warden.
lieu of the tree warden.
There you go.
To see if the town will vote to amend the general bylaws to require the select board or an entity appointed by the select board in lieu of appointing a tree warden to provide oversight of the removal of certain trees within town road setbacks. And I think it identifies somewhere in here that this is specifically being brought forth because of the pushback with regard to the cost of hiring a tree warden last year.
That was my
Conversation.
mistake of putting a cost in.
When the conversation
no
came
cost.
up at town meeting about the tree warden, that was one of the factors involved. So this is a way to try to build into the bylaws of the town, essentially a responsibility, a direct responsibility with regard to oversight of the removal of trees in certain areas.
Correct.
Anything you need to add to that?
Well, my hope is, it's very simple, I think, simple and straightforward, and it gets us to a place where maybe next year, somebody will say, well, you know, instead of buying a new truck, let's buy a tree warden, you know? So, because all the towns in the Cape have tree wardens except for 2. So they must, there's a reason for that. And the reason is I think we're too focused on hardware and not focused on other things. And so this is the invitation to, down the road, hopefully somebody will say, well, hey, let's have a tree warden. That's it.
Okay, questions? Mr. Dworick.
Do I see a correlation between that and Mr. Otten's recommendation for designating scenic areas,
Yes, scenic roads,
scenic roads?
Yeah.
yes, requires a tree warden
Oh, it does,
to resolve any conflict, yes.
as part of your proposal.
As by state law.
I see.
So if there is a question, a public hearing is needed, tree warden needs to be there to answer the questions about
I see.
the tree.
So who would go now?
So,
The town administrator? Or?
I'm hoping mine will go second. I'd prefer Peter, prefer Patrick's, but I've got to stop, you know,
Yeah,
a way to accomplish something.
Yes, and you're right, that the order that somebody picks can be important, as we've run into before. Michelle,
What exactly are you trying to address here with your,
With the setbacks?
with the petition?
Well,
What problem are you
Town
addressing?
roads, there are a lot of, I've seen in my 70 years here, people think they own the trees up to the pavement. They don't, we do. And, but they disappear. And part of the problem is they keep disappearing, but they never get replanted. There's no regeneration factor, which is what a tree warden would do. He would limb, he would cut where necessary, and he would plant. We don't have that. So I'm hoping we'll lead to that. In any event, it's just, the town has a setback area, front setback area, and an ownership of that enjoys that frontage needs to come to a committee of the select board's choice to discuss the merits of getting rid of a tree.
So the setback, so I have a setback near my house, right? There are no trees there.
Yeah.
Somebody cleared them, cause the mower comes by, the town mower, and he mows the grass there.
great.
There's no trees there.
Yeah.
So are you saying we need to remove those trees, or we need to put trees there?
No, well, as an example,
confusing.
if you went down South Street in the last 2 months, you'd see 5 big trees that are gone, for reasons that I'm not gonna talk about, but they're gone. And it would have been nice if somebody could have found a way to hold on to those trees if they were in the town setback. If they're on private property, I'm not going there yet. No, I'll take away yet, I'm not going there. But if it's in fact the property that is, the town has some responsibility for, the town could come and plant trees on your bare, eventually get the tree warden, go grab his arm and tell me you want some trees.
But how would they mow? That's what
We mow around trees.
I want to know how I get them to come on my lawn.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
Do you have a circumference in mind?
I left it blank because I didn't want to, last year I bollocksed myself up with the 25,000. So I was determined not to bollocks myself up with anything this year. I'll leave that up to the select board to have. And I'll leave it up to others. I just want to have the setback instituted.
Yep, and then the other thing would be certain, the trees that are interfering with power lines.
All of that, just like Patrick, so clearly, you know, if the electric company needs to do something, they're going to do it. But there is this notion, some in town that, you know, that I don't mean to sound facetious, but that, you know, the only good trees are dead when holding wires, which I want to turn that thought around as best I can.
Anybody on the, on remote that would like to ask a question?
I don't have a question, just a comment. I'm hearing so much about trees. I'm like sidebar wondering if we don't need a tree commission, but that's just a sidebar comment. So is this one, I think we've determined this one has not, the council has not seen this one,
That
correct?
is correct.
Okay, so I think this is probably a tabled one.
It is, but we want to have gotten done with our vetting. And
Oh, yeah.
only be
Yes.
voting to make sure that we've got the same article when we vote.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I think we're done.
Well, I'm grateful
with
to
these.
Thanks
you
for
all
coming
getting me
in.
wound
Thank you.
up here for
You're
the
welcome.
school board. Thank you very much.
And you probably should have a meeting with the Charter Commission.
Yes,
if you haven't.
I will be going there.
Okay.
Good.
I will be going
Now,
there.
did somebody want to speak to Ed Trembicki? Guy?
Well, which one's his?
I have two of them, P9 and P10. Is that Patrick, you're
Yes.
going to speak to that? Yeah, okay.
I'll speak to one of them.
Okay, P9 is Quiet Neighborhoods Regulation of
Yes.
Leaf Blowers.
Yes, that one I'll speak to.
Okay. The article, to see if the town will vote to amend Part 1, General Bylaws, Chapter 189, parentheses, noise, by adding a new paragraph D regulating the noise produced by leaf blowers, or take any action relative thereto. Select Board or designee will define the rules and regulations within 90 days of adoptions. So as I read this, it does not specify the noise level per se in the article. It leaves that up to the rules and regulations. And then it goes on, it does not in any way specifically deal with types of leaf blowers, just the noise from leaf blowers, correct? Okay. Do you need to add anything to that?
I would just add that reading the chapter 189, section 1 definitions, A says plainly audible above routine or normal background noise. So they're talking about noise, plainly audible above routine or normal background. And they're also saying plainly audible at a distance of 150 feet. And they also reference use of lawn and landscaping equipment included. Okay? What this is asking, let's get very specific about leaf blowers and talk about the noise that leaf blowers make. Historically, the manufacturers are finally waking up to the noise of leaf blowers. The traditional initial gas-powered leaf blowers are producing dB 120, 110. The now latest models are below 70 dB, and that's acceptable. Okay,
Is
so
that gas powered?
there are now gas-powered
As opposed to
70.
battery operated?
Well, the electric are the quietest. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is about disturbance, comfort, agitation, upset.
But is it more about having a certified leaf blower as opposed to a non-certified leaf blower? Because you're really saying, if someone has an old relic, they can't use it. But somebody else who bought a new one, assuming it meets some standard, can use it. And how do I, as a neighbor, know which one they're using other than they're making noise?
Yeah.
I mean, same with the lawnmower, quite frankly. I mean,
I agree.
you know.
Yeah.
quite frankly, I'd be more happy if it said you can only use it between the hours of this and that, as opposed to some of these guys showing up at 6:30 and
That's right.
firing off the
Yeah,
leaf
no
blower.
And if you review bylaws of other towns, those are specified.
Yeah.
Only 2 operating between these hours, not on holidays, not on Sundays. So you can get very, very specific. But I'm not going down that path, I'm just simply saying, or Ed, select board to define the rules, all right? Let them sort it out and answer all those detailed questions.
Okay.
And
Other
there's plenty of examples to follow to answer those exact questions.
Okay, but again, town council hasn't looked at this.
No, it has not. Other questions?
Okay.
Okay, then we will put on this on the list of waiting for town council.
The other red one?
This is the other Ed one, which is,
About funding, right?
The 40B project?
yeah, this is, town will vote to require that for any future development project, including projects subject to Massachusetts General Laws 40B, town shall not waive fees, reduce taxes, or provide any other discretionary financial or regulatory incentive to a private developer without prior approval by town meeting. Provided, however, that nothing herein shall be construed to limit, delay, or prohibit any action, approval, waiver, or incentive required by state law or necessary to comply with Massachusetts general laws, blah, blah, blah. I think that covers it.
If I may, I was at the table when that was formulated, and if there are any questions, I may be able to speak to them.
Thank you, Mr. Sefton. Questions on the, this is the article that I have labeled P10 concerning financial incentives for 40B projects, pretty much. Yes, Mr. Hughes.
So if I read the article correctly, I think the assumption is for the 40B project, the developer is already getting a lot of breaks,
Absolutely.
right? And so it's gonna be 40B, and the town loses some control in a 40B project just by, going through planning and all that kind of stuff. And so this says, not only are we having the 40B, but now if they ask us to waive these fees, the taxpayers are really getting hit again.
Exactly.
Is that what
That
you're?
is exactly, we discussed, at the table, we called it corporate welfare.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the gist of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm done. Except for it hasn't gone to legal
This
counsel.
has also not been through council, so we'll put it in that pile. I don't see any other questions, I don't think, on this.
Wait, she just got her hand up.
Just one really quick clarifying question. So the way that I'm reading this, it sounds like, so any development project, every single one of them that would fall into this category would have to come into town meeting. Is that correct?
That is my understanding. I don't want to speak for the author, but that's as I understand it. Yes, it's up to the voters to part with the money rather than the Affordable Housing Trust decide for us to part with the money.
Okay, all right. It just seems like the process would be stretched, I guess, stretched out. So I just wanted to clarify.
I think I'm representing it as they would expect me to.
And it only applies to 40B projects, right?
40B,
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
The last two here is one from Jan Raphael. Was one of you
I can
guys?
represent her.
Okay, this has to do with home rule petition to restrict the use of SGAR rodenticides. And SGAR, let me make sure I get the wording right. It is second generation anticoagulant rodenticides. Is this the same one that we had last year?
This
Or
is a much smaller
2 years ago?
subset of
Okay,
what the
so it has probably
pesticide
not
was
been,
last year, so
that
this
has
has
not been through council, okay. But the idea is similar, I guess,
Similar.
that it goes through and for anyone, I don't know, that was reading the papers this week, in the last 5 days, there was an article that specifically was talking about numbers and I think it was an article about the Eyes on Owls group, I'm not sure, and they were talking about how many owls they see that are basically dying of anticoagulants, and a very frequent, very high frequency item for predator birds in particular that will be eating rodents that have ingested anticoagulant rodenticides, so stuff that makes them basically bleed to death. Okay, any questions on the rodenticide article that we need to have? And again, this has not been through council, so we'll hold the voting, but let's make sure that everybody has asked whatever questions they have and see if we get any answers. Mr. Hughes.
So Tommy, can you bring a hawk and a bunch of mice and do a demonstration? It'd be kind of,
I mean, either a hawk, a fox, a possum,
whatever,
you know, a
yeah.
coyote,
Yeah.
they're all suffering from the second
yeah,
generation.
yeah, no, I understand, so.
And I've seen that demonstration here at the community center.
Yeah.
Hawks and owls and stuff.
Okay,
Let me just say that this was just before the Joint Committee on Environmental and Natural Resources at the state legislature. They're a subgroup that recommends all these home rule articles to the legislature. So there are 32 other towns with the same issue being brought before the state legislature. Specifically, Truro, Eastham have this on their home rule petition, okay? It's also before the Senate as S-2721 to have it a statewide rule, not just individual towns. So it's having impact that we need to address.
Does anybody have it in place today, any towns?
No. So it's available only through licensed applicators. So homeowners can no longer buy it or distribute it, only a licensed applicator.
Well, the dump uses it.
Well, they're licensed.
Well, and I think the question would be, it's getting used in town.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. However, there's alternatives.
Right.
You can use a live trap, a CO2 trap, electronic trap, birth control. You can use less toxic products such as a desiccant, Rat X. So desiccant is a salt mixed with grain, and it just dehydrates them. It doesn't kill continuously up the food chain.
And this year you did this instead of, somebody else did this instead of the pesticide.
The pesticide was a broader herbicide, insecticides, fungicides.
And you're not doing that this year?
No, I'm going to focus on a more concentrated
Yeah.
view. I went before the Board of Health with this. The Board of Health, unfortunately, said, absolutely not, we can't support this. Rats are dangerous, they carry disease, we have to get rid of them. It's like, wait a minute, improve your thinking a little bit, you know?
Really?
So,
when do you think the state will decide if it's gonna take some action? You know,
I don't know, I mean, it's before the Senate is proposing it now to the state to limit, ban, if you want to use the word ban.
yeah, but it could be a statewide ban in
Yeah.
a year or so, I mean, if it,
Right.
okay. Got
And this too is a home rule petition,
Yep, got
which
it,
can be years away before it's finally
Yeah.
done.
got it, okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, the last one, does anybody know anything about Robert Hundredmark's article?
That the P1,
Okay, this is P1, right?
I know nothing
Okay,
about it.
so it is, text of the article, see if the town will vote. I guess you're free to do whatever you'd like to.
We're gonna listen.
Well, we'll hang in for a little bit, thank you. We might-
To see if the town will vote to prohibit multifamily development special permits in rural, low and medium density residential zoning districts by amending the code of the town of Harwich, section 325 zoning as follows. Amend Article 10, administration and enforcement, addition blah, 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 by adding a new paragraph. Multifamily dwellings shall not be allowed by special permit under 325-51Q in the following zoning districts: residential rural estate, residential low density, or residential medium density. 2, amend Article 5, regulations, 325.13A, paragraph 1, residential uses, table 1. Residential uses, multifamily, with respect to zoning districts, RR, RL, RM, the same as I mentioned before, as follows. I don't know what the as follows is supposed to be. It's not clear. Additions in bold line as follows. Except I don't see the additions. But basically they're trying to, this is trying to not allow multifamily dwellings in 3 zoning districts. And I think it speaks to the fact that when zoning bylaw was amended in 2020, it was amended to allow for multifamily developments in all residential zoning districts. This is to try and amend that amendment to limit the number of districts that where this is allowed. Okay? Yes.
Just be interesting to see what the planning board has to say about that and what the master plan might say about it. I don't know. Seems to me it must be addressed in both of those places.
I wonder.
I think the bold underline you're looking for is in the chart. The table 1 use regulations. They're taking away the top 5s and putting in dashes.
Dashes, got it. Oh.
Yeah, so RR, RL, and RM will change from S's to dashes for multifamily dwellings, section 325-51.
Yep. Okay, got it. Thank you.
And this is brought forward in a petition by an individual?
This is brought forth as a petition by an individual, yeah?
Okay, so the folks that are responsible for zoning bylaws haven't asked for this?
Not the way it's presented. It is
Okay.
definitely presented as a citizen petition.
Okay.
Any comments that we have on that article, Article P1?
May I?
Yep.
Yeah, multi-family dwellings, is that, multi-family developments, so these like small apartment buildings?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Like, can we define that? Like,
Well, small to bigger. I mean, it's multi-family.
But is this like a house with, a 2-family house, for
Can it be a
example?
duplex?
A duplex.
Yeah.
It appears that it would include
Because those are very different.
all multifamily developments, which seems to me like starts with a 2-family and goes up.
Yeah. That was my question too, Mr. Chair. I wanted to understand what the definition was of the multi, like, is that 2? Is that 20? Like, I don't know what the definition is.
Mr. Hughes?
No, I think it's 2.
Oh.
I mean, it's
I
2
think
or
it's-
more.
I
Yeah,
think it's 2 or more,
Yeah, I mean,
I think.
that would be the standard definition,
yeah.
unless stated otherwise.
So
Well-
right now, they can be built anywhere because of this change that was made in 2020.
Apparently.
Apparently, yes.
Okay, well, that would explain why I have one down at the end of my street. Okay.
So what if
In
you,
all, they can be built apparently in all residential zoning districts, as
What if-
well as commercial village and commercial highway 1 districts.
what if you had a house and you wanted to put an ADU on the lot, which makes it now multifamily, right?
I think that somewhere in here it mentioned, make some comment, I thought, yes, about ADU, but it starts getting, the whole ADU program starts running into conflicts like this, yes. Exactly.
You gotta think it through.
Wouldn't this, I agree with you, Peter, isn't this something that the zoning folks?
They would have far more expertise than I certainly would, so I mean,
Yeah.
Well, and
well, they'll have a chance to bring it on town meeting and, talk about it.
right,
And we don't have an opinion from town council, so.
we do not, so it will get marked that way, but if, certainly, I suppose if you want to read up on the zoning bylaws, you have an opportunity between now and next week.
And by the way, there's a whole bunch of zoning bylaw amendments ahead of this one,
Yeah.
so, brought by the planning board.
Mm.
So that's why the question, I think, has to go back to the planning board and said, what do you think about this one?
Well, I would say, what was the intent of the September 2020
Yeah, we don't know.
amendment
Well,
allowing this?
well, I think what this town and what many towns are absolutely being encouraged to do is to take steps in their zoning bylaws and elsewhere to explicitly encourage multifamily development.
Mm.
That's part of the entire affordable housing need for affordable housing thrust.
With no restrictions where that happens, yes,
Well,
I see.
some places probably have, different towns have, I'm sure, voted different zoning changes. I mean, look at all the attention in the news that the state law change having to do with towns that have some connection to the MBTA and their required development of multifamily
Right,
zoning.
right.
So, I mean, it's clearly a major point of emphasis to try and develop more housing. And there are and once you've done something, that it then is open to, gee, did we do the right thing, or should we tweak it? Maybe this is effectively trying to make a tweak to have some of those districts not apply. Okay, any questions from out there in space? Nope, okay, then I think we are, in that case, done with the petition articles for tonight. The next order of business that I have.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you both very much for coming.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
And I'd like to say thank you for confirming citizen participation in town government. I mean, it's really wonderful that any of us can be here to be before
You're
you.
the one that ought to be thanked.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
okay. You know, it really is a pleasure, so,
Have a good night, yep.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, I do have some articles that I think have come out of council, or that we can, they're really tricky, complex articles, like town officers and committees.
Vote to accept and adopt.
I think so, so I have, first article, I think we have 9 of them. Town officers and committees, to choose the various town officers and committees. Can I have a motion to accept and adopt?
Motion to accept and adopt.
Do you wanna go one by one, or do you wanna do I think the select board did a batch the other night.
They may have, but I think,
One by one?
yeah, just in case.
So which one is this on Dana's list, or Brad's list of one-liners? Where are we?
It is, I think it's pretty close to in the same order as the list on the town. It's C1 on the town's schedule.
That's adopt capital plan.
No, C1 on the new one, I think, is
Oh, C1 is
C1.
choose town officers and
town officers
committees.
and committees.
All right,
Okay?
move to accept and adopt.
Second?
Okay. Okay, any discussion? Okay, let's we'll take a quick roll call vote. Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
me, aye. Okay, that is 8-0.
Mr. Chairman, reports of town officers and commissions.
Yep,
I move to accept and adopt.
okay. Peter,
I second.
Mark A, accept and adopt. Any discussion? Okay, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
me, aye. In 8-0, okay. Lease purchase agreements,
Refresh my memory, these copiers and stuff like that,
I'm sorry?
these copiers, the lease purchase
Lease
agreement.
purchase agreements, the requirements under state law to have this.
With no funding.
It's no funding, that's right.
Okay, I would move
See if the
accept.
town will vote to enter various lease purchase
Yeah.
agreement, financing agreements for town equipment, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, okay,
It does require a 2/3 majority vote
from town meeting.
from town meeting.
Yeah, I would move accept and adopt.
Mark?
Aye.
No, I want your second
Oh,
first.
sorry, second, sorry. You say, don't prompt the witness.
Okay, exactly. Okay, vote, no discussion, votes, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Dana, Michelle,
Aye.
me, aye. Okay. Defray the expenses of the Chase and Harwich Port Libraries. Okay, this is also a recurring customary, this is estimated to cost $20,000, so it does have a price tag associated with it.
Mr. Chairman, I would move accept and adopt, $20,000 from free cash.
Mark,
Second.
accept and adopt from free cash. Okay, any discussion? Votes, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Dan,
My wife is on the board, so I abstain.
traditionally, Michelle,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
701.
701, that's correct. Okay, the annual, this is now slightly out of order.
The Herring
I- I-
Fisheries.
Actually, I think I have the cultural one here
Oh,
someplace.
Mass Cultural Council.
I had it, where'd it go?
There
Oh, there it is, annual allocation for cultural council grants.
Mr. Chairman,
This has a cost of $4,000.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move, accept and adopt Fund Mass Cultural Council at $4,000 from free cash.
I second.
Second.
We're gonna take Mark Amira's second.
It's easier for Judy to just keep the same people.
Okay, that's fine.
Hi, Judy.
Don't confuse matters. Okay, no discussion, votes, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
me, aye. Okay, herring fisheries,
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept and adopt.
I second.
seeing no discussion, Mr. Hughes,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
and I am an aye.
See whether you let people take herring out of the.
Yeah, I think there's actually gonna be a second herring article, but I'm not sure.
Pardon?
There might be a second herring article.
Yeah, but it's either on the list or it isn't at this point.
The last one.
This article is the one we usually have, not the
So
special.
it's, the one we just voted on is the one that's usually at the end
Correct.
of warrant.
Yep.
Okay, I do have an article for the elected officials' salaries.
That's number 11, B6.
Let the,
I have that number.
What's the number?
Oh, sorry. I meant the article number, not the
Oh, okay.
amount.
I'm trying to find it.
So yeah, elected official salaries. Says here, in the budget, I would move accept and adopt from available funds.
Yes, I sent it out to everybody. It does have the values in it, total of $145,563.18.
That's what my motion
I
includes.
second the motion with the amount.
Accept and adopt. And
Available funds.
I'm sorry?
Available funds.
Available funds,
That's the budget, basically.
yep. Okay, I have the Cape Cod Community Media Center for $143,840.33. That is presumably getting funded from PEG access funds, I would assume.
Mr. Chairman, I would move.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
were we supposed to vote on the salaries? Did we miss that vote? I heard a motion and a second, but I don't think we actually voted.
I'm trying to go fast here, Tina. It's good to have somebody
Just
watching.
following the process.
He tried to slip one by you.
I did, okay, let's vote on that,
Aye.
you're right, we have a
Aye.
second.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Mark Peterson?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Um,
Aye.
Select Board Moderator, the
Aye.
How about
Commissioners.
Michelle?
Aye.
Hmm?
You didn't finish the
I'm
vote.
getting there,
Oh.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I'm an abstention.
Okay, so 701.
Right,
Mr. Chairman, an article
and we
was,
don't get paid anything.
yeah.
Okay, now
Article
we're to the community media.
Cape Cod Community Media Center. I move to accept and adopt from PEG access funds, and you can tell me the number, 143,000 something.
$143,840.33.
Exactly. Is that in your second?
I second number B9.
Okay, let's vote it. Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Aye.
and aye. Michelle,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Okay. Now we have the Historic District and Historical Commission Preservation Award funding. This is, we voted last year for, to be able to set up a Historic District and Historical Commission Preservation Award.
Where is
But
it?
there was no funding created at the time, so the
Oh, here it is.
HD&HC is coming back with basically a request for $5,000 funding. And they are requesting it from free cash.
Hang on a second.
What's the article number?
Looks like 52, according to Dana's list, so I don't.
I have it as, what do I have it as?
52 is G9.
Yeah, that's, oh, no, it's the
Oh,
one before.
yeah, it's G9.
G9.
On the town list.
But Dana's got NC listed by it.
Well, he may have,
That,
but
that may be an error.
it may be an error. This is
Yeah, he
what I
thinks
was
there's
sent
no
as
cost,
being
but there is a cost, that's
as
why
being
it's
the
here.
approved articles.
So I would move Historic District Historical Commission's award, accept and adopt $5,000 from free cash.
I second.
Okay, any comment? Voting, Mr. Hughes.
Aye.
Aye.
Dana,
Aye.
Mark Peterson,
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Okay. What I did get today, I don't know, I also have the community preservation ones. as drafts. We should go through them but not vote them, I guess, for the same reason they haven't been approved by council yet, but we can go through and see if we have any issues. What I do have, however, that I got today is the water ones as written up articles. Water and wastewater ones, which we could vote, I believe. I think they've been approved, yeah. They've been selected by the board and they've been placed by the board anyway.
Can we do CPC first?
We can, yes,
Or
I'm
at
happy to
least
do
get
that
started
first.
on it.
Yep,
So I do have a question, a couple of questions.
yes,
On the second CPC article, which is called Community Preservation Act Administrative Expenses,
yep.
it seems like it's always $50,000. Do they actually spend that, and what do they spend it for? That may be a question you want to ask them.
Yes, because I don't know the answer to it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
I know we spent, when I was on the board and Dan was we were on together for a while, that we spent very little on administrative expenses.
what's I'm thinking, this is for,
It was used to pay the secretary, like we pay.
like we do, but they don't have any legal expenses, I don't think.
They at times are asked to fund some, can be asked to fund some real estate related expenses, real estate project related stuff. But I don't know the answer to your question anyway.
Gesundheit.
The other question I had is if you look at the Meeting House Road in Chatham, sending $100,000 to participate that, and I think also the other Chatham project, at least in the Chronicle today, there seemed to be some discourse. Chatham voted it down, Orleans, I think, voted it down, so what are we doing? I mean,
Well, there was a somewhat interesting, I thought, article in one of the papers, might have been the Chronicle last week or the week before, and for some reason, I think it was Brewster, voted down a request from Chatham, I think, for multifamily, on asking all the country, and the article had some narrative in it that I'm not sure if it was from the chair of the committee or not, that years ago, there wasn't much going on in affordable housing development, and so it did make, in his or her opinion, a lot of sense to request some additional help from other communities around the Cape.
I get that whole
And,
concept.
but he followed with the fact that today, there are a lot of projects going on all over the mid-lower Cape. And that it was his or her opinion that the town should basically keep the money for their own projects and not be sending it to somewhere else. And that may be something that's going to come up more often, but in our case, the CPC did in fact vote fully to support both of them. This was Meeting House Road, as you mentioned,
Yeah, and the other one in Chatham
and
is
the other
called,
one is 1533 Main Street in Chatham, both Penrose projects.
right, and there seems to be some rub there, I don't know the details.
Again, these are, I know drafts, what Natasha indicated, which I didn't realize, and maybe Dan remembers, but she writes all the CPC articles, that CPC is not writing their own articles. For some reason, I don't
So
know
is
if
this
we did or
vetted
not.
by town council?
This hasn't, I don't think has gone anywhere out, and it has probably gone to town council now.
Okay, so we probably shouldn't deal with these as far as voting.
Again,
Mr. Chair?
we can bring up questions like you're mentioning, in going quickly through these, but I think you're right. Scott?
Mr. Chair? Just an observation, I looked up the Chronicle article that the Chatham Board voted against
Yeah,
sending CPC funds of $750,000 each to those two affordable housing projects. So it was their own funds that they decided not to apply in Chatham.
yeah, so why should we?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Scott.
That's what's stupid.
We have, again, going through these, we have support for the West Harwich Church redevelopment.
But again, not vetted by town council.
Not vetted, but everybody, and we don't have to, they're pretty straightforward articles, everybody should go through them.
Yep.
I do not believe they've been vetted. CPC, I don't know. I'm not sure when they're appearing.
So it hasn't been vetted by CPC?
No, they've all been voted on by CPC, but again, I think I got them from Tasha hot off the press, off her press, I believe. Yes,
Does it make sense that we don't even see them until they go through council? I mean, it seems kind of,
Well, the
Well,
trouble
that's
is,
why
we're so compressed on time.
oh, is that why?
I've been trying to get them as
Oh,
fast as I can get them and get them to people
And one of
because
our topics tonight is what's our plan going
You know,
forward.
Understood.
it is March 5th and
Got
we
it.
have
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Yes, Scott.
It seems that these articles are very similar in format. Prior years, I wonder if we need to, if council are actually gonna be reviewing them, or whether we can actually discuss and vote on them this evening.
Well, we could vote on them conditionally that, town council approves the wording. We could do that.
Yeah,
Exactly, they were provided to me specifically, as you can see, the pages were specifically provided as with draft on them on purpose, because they were sort of hot off the press. So, yes, I'm open to suggestions, if people would like to go ahead and take tentative votes, I'm all for it. And
Okay, in that case, Mr. Chairman, I would move the one that's called Community Preservation Act housekeeping expenses, that's the first one in the pile. Accept and adopt a total of $810,000 from community preservation funds.
I second.
so it's, for people anybody that doesn't understand CPC, the way CPC, this is exactly what you and I were talking about earlier. These are the designations of putting 10% of a number into the 3 buckets that they're required to do an allocation for. That's all it is. It's moving money from unreserved funds into 3 reserve funds.
You have to do it.
To make sure the money has been appropriated by law. Okay, let's vote. Mr. Hughes,
Aye.
Aye.
Mark. Do we still, Tina, Scott?
aye.
I don't seem to have Mark Peterson
I
anymore.
think, I think he lost connection, yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep going. Dan?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so now that is 7, right?
On the
Okay.
second one, on the list I have, which is Community Preservation Act administrative expenses,
Yep,
I just hold that till we get some definition of what the $50,000 is being used for. And maybe what their history has been. Which one's Lower Cape? There we go.
okay.
All right, Mr. Chairman,
So I'm going to, then unless somebody objects, I'm gonna hold that and see if I can get some information from the chair on that item.
so with that, Mr. Chair, on Lower Cape Housing Institute,
Yep,
I would move to accept and adopt $10,000 from Community Preservation Act funds.
I second.
yes, we may have to specify out the community housing reserve, but not here. Okay, this has been a recurring component, request over the last few years from the Community Development Partnership as part of their Lower Cape Housing Institute funding. So do anyone want to comment or ask anything about that? Yes.
So this is to get the word out that affordable housing is a need and we need to take, is that what this is about?
The Community Development Partnership holds various training sessions for, particularly historically for community leaders, members of committees, and various other interested parties. I'm not sure what their application criteria are at this point. To educate, train, and help develop the whole process of affordable housing concepts on the Cape, I guess you could say.
And all the towns participate, did you say?
No, I think that they keep their requests to the 8 Lower Cape communities that are that is their mission area.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, let's have a vote then.
Aye.
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Scott's taking your old place on the screen, Tina.
I know.
Dan?
We're moving around.
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I am an abstention. So we have 6-0-1 now. Okay.
Next one I have is
Funding the Affordable Housing Trust.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move that article of Affordable Housing Trust accept and adopt $452,700 from the Community Preservation Act Fund Fiscal 2027 undesignated fund and $197,260 from the Community Preservation Act Fiscal Fund 2027 Community Housing Reserve for a total of $650,000 to fund the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust.
I second.
Okay, any discussion? Let's do the votes then. Mr. Hughes?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Dan? Michelle?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Right now, 7-0.
And then, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, the two about Meeting House Road in Chatham and 1533 Main Street, Chatham, I would suggest we hold them.
Okay.
Do we know more?
Peter Hughes has suggested we hold the two Chatham funding articles for the time being.
Agreed.
Okay, no objection. I'm now in the West Harwich Baptist Church.
Mr. Chairman, I would move $667,500 from the Community Preservation Act Fund Fiscal Year 2027 Historic Fund to fund the Historic West Harwich Baptist Church project.
I second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Chris?
So my only comment is, it says in here, with the expectation that an historic restriction to the town will be part of the project and to act fully thereon. What if we don't get a historic restriction?
It says to the extent?
Huh?
Can you read that language again? To the extent?
It says, with the expectation
Oh,
that an historic restriction to the town will be part of the project and to act fully thereon. So I read that to mean if they don't get the historic restriction, we don't fund it.
I
Doesn't
do
say
too.
with the requirement.
I think it's an act requirement,
It's in the act.
CPA Act requirement.
Yeah, it's in the act.
The article,
Okay.
funding to support the exterior restoration and preservation, the town will receive, and the explanation, will receive a historic deed restriction on the building's exterior, ensuring that the restored features are protected and cannot be altered in the future. The restriction safeguards the integrity of the project and preserves the historical character of the structure for generations to come.
It's just odd the wording they put in there about expectation.
Yeah, I think it's a poor choice,
Yeah, well,
based upon
but
all
that,
of
somebody
that.
did that, so, okay.
No additional comments, let's vote. Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Tina,
I,
Dan, Michelle?
Aye.
I'll vote aye.
Mr. Chairman, I would move on the Robbins Pond project,
Yep,
accept and adopt $225,000 from the Community Preservation Act Fund fiscal year 2027 open space balance.
I second.
okay. Let me show you which one this is. All right, this is to preserve the land, 17.75 acres. Town of Harwich would hold a restriction, right? So that they're seeking to acquire that money, that land. Okay, any questions on the Robbins Pond project? Seeing none? Peter, vote.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Tina?
I,
Dan?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. 7-0.
So the next one about the Fields irrigation project, if we can't fertilize the field, what do we do?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's right. We can irrigate it.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would move for the Fields irrigation project, accept and adopt $197,260 from the Community Preservation Act Fund fiscal year 2027 undesignated fund balance.
I second.
Okay. Replace the irrigation system. Any questions, comments? Okay, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Tina,
I,
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Water quality equipment replacement, I can't talk anymore.
Wouldn't you think that would be in a budget? It's just my comment, that's all.
Well, and actually, in reading all of these projects, I think progressively more people are coming to CPC with items that I would say historically would be operating budget items or budget items. Yes, I think that's true. And it is CPC's responsibility to vet whether that still qualifies within.
And quite frankly, in this case, if the equipment is broken and it's not in the budget, they could come to the Finance Committee Reserve Fund and ask for a transfer,
They could.
which is what they probably should be doing, but here we are.
uh,
Just my comment, Mr. Chairman. So with that, on the water quality equipment replacement, I would move accept and adopt $35,793.50 from the Community Preservation Act Fund fiscal year 2027 undesignated fund balance.
I second.
Any comment? Any additional comment? Okay, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Tina,
I,
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle, I'm an aye. but I do agree that this is being progressively viewed as an additional pot of money.
Same as the next one, quite frankly, but anyhow.
Anyhow,
Shellfish Lab updates, I would move to accept and adopt $25,107.89 from the Community Preservation Act Fund fiscal year 2027 undesignated fund balance.
I second.
any comment on this one? Okay, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
me, and I also.
Mr. Chairman, Hinckley's Pond Diagnostic Assessment. I would move accept and adopt. Let's see how this reads. Accept and adopt at $109,145.68 in the Community Preservation Act Fund fiscal year 2027 undesignated fund balance and $28,854.32 undesignated anticipated revenues balance to fund the Hinkley's Pond Diagnostic Assessment.
I second.
Okay, any conversation on this? I think previously Scott has indicated to me I think this is the one that you're planning on abstaining on, correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's take votes. Peter?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Scott? Abstain?
Abstain.
Tina?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain also, so it is 502. I have some past history back to CPC days with regard to the issues at Hinckley's Pond, and so would prefer to not vote on this component. Okay, that gets us a pass through on these. Thank you very much. And come on, get a paper clip. And I think the last two things that I have, as I mentioned, were water and wastewater, which I believe we can vote on.
I didn't print them out, but
I
you got
did.
them on.
I printed some extra copies.
Oh,
even.
good, in that case.
Not
In that case, I'll take
a
it.
ton, and I did send them out, so you guys are responsible on your own.
We don't have a paper budget or an ink budget, so. You guys have it out there in TV land? You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
1,
You don't have to give me,
2,
how many are there? Are these, each one's a page?
each one, there's one page with both articles,
Oh, okay.
okay?
So who needs one? Michelle?
3, 4, and I have one for me, and I think that's it.
Who needs one? Extra.
An extra, oh, even better.
All right, so you ready for this?
Mm.
Article X.
Article X, the water
Which is-
department budget.
Yeah, it's the Water Department operating budget.
Yep.
So I'd move accept and adopt the Water Department operating budget for fiscal year 2027. Estimated cost, $5,442,329 from, what are we taking it from?
I think,
Available funds?
no, it's gotta be,
It's the water,
let me look at the water.
it's the water, whatever they officially call the water fund.
Enterprise? No.
Water.
Water
Water
revenues,
retail-
water revenues, right?
Water what?
Water revenues,
Water revenues.
is that what you call it, I think? What's the thing on Dana's list? Let's see.
Yeah.
Water. It's, number
Budget.
9.
Yeah, water, it's water revenues, and
Okay.
so it's accept and adopt at $5,442,329 from water department funds.
I second.
Okay, this number does, just so that we know, it does agree to the most recent water department budget in terms of their total expenditures. So the 5,442,329 is the same as the number on their total expenditure budget. And their budget does, as sent to us, does have an excess of $202,262. So their revenue is greater than their expenses as planned.
Actually, this is written up, it says available funds.
Mm-hmm.
You'll straighten it out, Mr. Chairman, whatever it is,
I'm sure
just to get the wording proper.
Yeah. Okay, any questions, comments? I believe that these have, let's see, have they gone anywhere? Not sure.
I have a comment.
Yep,
So the water department funds itself, right?
yeah,
Yeah, they take
It's like an
revenues in.
enterprise.
Yeah, they get revenue in
Yeah,
it.
and so what you're saying is the revenue's higher than the expenses.
Yeah,
Their
I'm just
revenue
making
is-
sure eventually the wording has to get.
that's correct.
Okay.
Their revenue is higher than their expenses. They
That's what I
are
was
profit generating.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's the case in the wastewater.
No, it is not the case with wastewater, that they're asking for the number on the article, $994,395, is the same as their anticipated budgeted expenses in the most recent budget. And they have $210,000 in revenue, but they are asking for funding for their expense budget. Now, their identified need is $784,208, which presumably will have to come from other
This number
sources.
says 994, what do you?
994 is their expenses.
Yeah,
Their revenue is $210,187.
yeah,
They are short
Right.
784.
right.
Right,
So where do they get that?
in the town budget.
All right, so did we vote on the water thing yet?
We did. No, we
did.
didn't. We didn't vote.
All right, let's vote that one first.
Okay, Peter,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Jan, Michelle,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. That's 7-0.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, on the wastewater department budget, I would move to accept and adopt, you figure out the funding source,
Okay.
$994,395, just to get the wording precise.
Yep. Or at least to attempt to, yes, exactly. Okay, again, the number on here does agree to their most recent and as, at least as identified to us, final budget. I hope that that's what it will be. So let's vote it. Peter?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, 7-0. Okay, that is the article business for this evening.
So did I just make a comment, Mr. Chairman? We made a lot of progress tonight.
I'm sorry?
We made a lot of progress tonight, I think.
I'd like to think so, yes.
And do we know whether the selectmen are on adopting the capital plan?
I think it's on Monday's agenda. well, I won't swear to that because the packet hasn't come out yet, but I think it was going to be.
So can we make an assumption that they adopt the capital plan, they'll also adopt all these articles about how to fund the items in the capital plan?
Yes, actually, the new town administrator had indicated to me that I might get those this week, but I have not gotten them yet.
I think he's in Switzerland.
He is.
Yeah, so that's kind of hard. But I would say there's a big block.
Well, I think what he meant was that Natasha might get them to me this
Yeah,
week.
I mean, there's almost, there are 11 articles, including adopting the capital plan, associated with the capital plan,
Yes,
which is another big chunk here.
yes,
And my observation is, it gets us down to not too many, and we've got about 7 or 8 zoning bylaw things here,
yes.
which I assume don't have any funding impacts. I don't know that, but
Exactly.
I would assume.
I would take the same point.
And usually we just look at those and see what they are.
Yeah.
So I would say, if we get the documentation on the warrant and the selectmen take some action here, we're gonna be in pretty good shape to accomplish our mission, I think.
That's what I'm thinking too. I had hoped to get what we got done tonight, counting on the fact that having, that we really don't re-talk about all the ones that we're waiting for council on, that we just vote them, that we are in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And so our deadline for getting through the warrant and all done is?
The 31st, I'm supposed to deliver the final set of recommendations.
Okay, all right. So suggestion might be we meet again next Thursday.
Yep.
Hopefully we can vote a bunch more and see where we are.
That sounds like,
I mean,
that's what we're currently scheduled for,
Yeah.
and I would like
Is that here or over there?
over there.
Over there,
And I'd
okay.
recommend
I'll make a note to
keeping
myself.
it the same way, yes.
Yeah.
And then we make a determination at that point. Or if we find out, that'll give us the results of Monday's meeting. If we find out something different, I might reach out as to whether getting meetings scheduled can be all of a sudden, before you know it, the 48 hours has gone by and you have a problem. So I'll keep track of what happens Monday.
Yep. Let's hope they make progress, which they need to.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get a call back. I exchanged messages with the select board chair today about the fact that the process is now no longer ahead, but is starting to drag behind.
Now, do I understand, Dana's not here with us this evening, but is he taking the explanations we had from last year, whether they apply to this year, and bringing them over?
That is what he's intending to do. He's intending to create the entire list of recommendations and votes. And as he gets some substance, to give them to me, and I'll give them to admin.
Yeah, okay. So with the votes we took tonight, he can move ahead with that.
That would be the plan. I will, tomorrow, I'll try to get all this out to him.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Tina?
I just pulled up, just for clarification, I just pulled up the select board agenda for Monday, March 9th. Unless they're gonna roll it in, maybe this is a broad stroke here, but it says 2026 annual town meeting. So there's gonna be an update on the town meeting budget timeline, and then the draft 2026 annual town meeting articles. So you were asking a question about the capital plan. Does that fit in there? I don't think so, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I think, one, it'll be somewhat clear. Are you just looking at the agenda?
Right, but I just know with open meeting law, it has to be posted unless they're going to do,
Right, but
yeah.
what I'm saying is, what I was going to say is that once the packet is available, it'll give more clarification as to what they actually intend to include. I have found at times the packet is much more extensive than the agenda line items. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, just that we'll know more tomorrow once the packet's posted.
Okay,
Um,
that's all.
And I think that at least, I think that the select board, or at least is starting to become aware that, time is running short. And they do need to start, getting their end also done.
Okay,
I would
So-
suggest a minimum next Thursday, no matter what they do, that we spend our time working on the capital plan and what we wanna do with the capital plan.
Yep.
And then if we have to modify it later because of some change they made, then we'll do it.
Actually, we've still got Scott. Scott, do you have what you think is the final capital plan?
I think the last distribution to the Capital Outlay Committee is still current. The select board discussed those two recent additions, dredging project for, some damage and, for $350,000, and the, form-based zoning, allocation of $125,000, which actually replaces a previously approved $100,000 updating of the existing zoning maps. The select board discussed those. I can't remember whether there was a formal vote, but they were favorably received, those two changes. So I think that version I do have in hand from the last, Capital Outlay Committee, and I think that's still current.
And did they vote funding sources?
I think that it was half of the 350 was still up in the air. And Jay and Jen promised to come back with specifics.
Okay, but on the rest of the plan for this year or next year, did they identify funding sources?
Yes, there's the usual sheet of 2027 funding sources.
Okay, so that's all
Correct.
we need.
Except for that $175,000, to be determined.
Okay, so as long as we agree with that, we can, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Or even if we don't agree with it.
That's right.
And Bob,
Yes,
we have a chance to vote line by line on next year's capital, budget still, correct?
I don't know how we're going to get, I think as presented in the schedule, it looks like the items that are being funded are coming in as they usually do in piecemeal funding source
Oh,
articles.
good. Okay, good, because I have to abstain on another Hinckley's Pond article that I didn't realize that I last voted on it when I did not abstain. So I'm glad I'll be able to do that officially.
So just for clarification, article, the way Dana has it, 22, adopt the capital plan, is followed by all the individual items to be funded in the coming year as individual items and individual funding sources, like ambulance from a capital debt exclusion.
Right, good.
That kind of stuff.
Yep,
So-
and there are 9 of them.
Excellent.
There are nine articles separate from adopt the capital plan.
Okay, great. I don't have those in the email, I don't think yet, but
I think it's still the list, the one I'm working with is the list that was in the budget book.
oh, okay, I'll look there. Thank you. I do have that.
Okay. Okay, if our business is concluded, I would entertain, yes.
One comment, Peter Hughes remains listed as chair on the website. You're listed under, all the names are listed.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that says, if you're interested, contact Peter Hughes, chair.
Great idea.
So that needs to be changed.
Wait a minute, that's why so many people are calling me.
I know.
That's exactly right.
So should we change it to secretary?
All right, so motion to adjourn.
I second.
Vote with your feet.
Aye.
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 Good night, all.
So next Thursday at Town Hall, 6 o'clock.
Yep, we'll see you there.
I would have eaten.
Good night, folks.